So guys, I know why I clicked in this video. I know why, and I just want to let y'all know before I get into anything, I understand. It's okay. Don't better yourselves. Don't put yourself down. Because in this video, you're gonna automatically change. You're gonna automatically find a solution for yourself. Because what I'm doing right now is I want you to be in the best position in the life that you can be. Not be in the worst position because of this horrible course, of this horrible illusion that is coming in our way and manipulating our minds to think differently, to do actions differently, right? And have this perspective that is affecting us day by day, daily by daily, once in a while, once in a month, once in a year, whatever it is that is impacting a negative form into your own life. This curse has to be deselected away from your own life. And what we're talking about, it is malicious energy that we call lust. This false energy that doesn't come in the right way. It comes in a forced way. It comes in a way where it's this energy that's basically have attracted that the world has been influencing. Do you ever go to social media? Do you ever look at the news? Do you ever look at cartoons? Do you ever look at anything that have been publicized into people's eyes? There's always a sort of way that they're trying to throw off a shade of lust, throw off a shade of girls, males, whatever it is, right? All I'm trying to say is that this malicious energy is everywhere. And what we call it is the lust that converts over what we call porn, right? And what I'm here to talk about, simple as it is just a guide to break up lust and porn. These things are what the evil is trying to make us do. This curses is what is hold within us, but we need to let it go. We need to become distant from it. We need to ignore it. We need to start focusing on the other things, on the positive things, on the things that keep us in the purpose, and things that provides us as true humans, rather than us being really robotic into this emotion that we call lust, right? So first of all, I just want to make sure I ask the questions, right? I want to be this person that is self-reflecting into your own mind and you asking yourself these questions as well, and you become your own answer. Because at the end of the day, you will only know your answers into your own problems because you create your problems first of all, right? And mainly the main consequence here is that we're going to be talking about lust. What has lust provided for us? What is the benefits of us being in lust? How has a negative impacted in our lives, right? All these examples that I'm explaining it could get worse, and it's super deep. It's super deep. It could go in a deeper hole that you may never be yourself no more. You may be contained with this energy that it's just maliciously gonna create a different identity, right? But I don't want to get into that topic because that's not gonna happen. But I just want to name the consequence. If you don't want to change, you don't want to become a different person, then your life is not going to change and it's just going to keep going worse. Because you keep connecting yourself with lust and it's connecting with a lot of sources that is within that course, right? So I just want to ask those self-reflective questions real quick, right? First of all, what goes through your mind? What is the things that goes through your mind while you're in the depth within this lust, right? What are you thinking about? How do you feel? How is your heart? Are you composed? Are you in a state of panic, right? Do you know what you're doing? Are you being controlled? Are you able to change? Are you able to think for yourself, right? All these things are important. If you ask yourself these things and you answers, then you will answer your way out of this curse. Simple as it is, right? So second question, what was the trigger for you to entertain this temptation? What was the trigger that automatically activated this malicious energy now into yourself, right? There's always going to be a click. There's always going to be a signal. There's always going to be a sign. It could be whenever your mind is just doing its own thing. It could be whenever you're laying down. It could be whenever you're chilling. It could be when you're home alone. It could be anywhere. When you're by yourself in your car, when you get off the gym, when you get off your work, when you finish doing the things that you're supposed to do, what it is, right? What is a trigger that it basically entertains the temptation? And also, was there some mood or disposition of your heart that was prevalent from this lust? Right? How do you felt whenever these triggers started activating? Right? Do you feel a bit of relief? Do you feel a bit of, one time doesn't hurt? Do you just accept it? Did you battle it? Did you confront it? Did you ignore it? What is it that your mind, your personality feels, right? Your emotions, your mood that activates this lust? Think about this briefly, because all these important factors, it comes to one thing, and it comes from dopamine, right? So how dopamine works is that it's an addictive source that automatically activates whenever it's in a certain situation, a specific emotion, a specific action that always activates. It's kind of like, let's say for example, you eat chips every time you finish a meal. You'll be doing that daily. So every time you finish a meal, your mind will be, oh, it's time for chips, right? But at the end of the day, you don't have chips because you didn't buy some, or you just don't have no more. So whenever you finish a meal, you automatically are gonna crave chips because that's your day by day routine. So that's what dopamine is, right? So that's what it exclaims here. Was there some mood disposition of your heart that was prevalent, that was causing this lust or trigger, right? Think about it differently and answer on your own consciousness. So moving on, every time you have this trigger, what Bible promises or truth can you repeat to yourself that reminds you of God's blessings to who you are purely, right? And this is one of the beautiful things I have wrote in this question wise guide. Whenever you are in touch with lust, you are not yourself. You are your unconscious mind because you are living within that dopamine. Whenever you act out of dopamine, it just activates a different image. It activates a different action. It activates this different triggers, the different addictions that you have, right? Instead of you drinking water, you automatically start drinking something that's really sugar wise, right? Something that's unhealthy for you. Instead of you drinking or going to work out, you over here wasting your time playing games, right? All these things are important, and all these things are causes of you because of your triggers. But let me ask you this. What are some promises of the Bible, or what are some truths that you can repeat to yourself that reminds you of God's blessings? What are the things that you learn, and what are the things that you know truly within your wisdom? Moving on, right? What promises you, you can say to hope sin can be defeated. So within those promises, what is the wisdom that automatically helps you prevent yourself from sinning? What are the things that automatically says no to these sins? Says no to these triggers? Automatically eliminates them away from your mind. Throws them away to the trash. Throws them away back to where they came from, right? Because these energies are not good for you. These energies are meant to bring you down. This lust is contagious, right? Lust is something that you're giving off, and people notice that. It takes your energy away from you. It takes your personality away from you. It takes your self-image away from you. And now you seem like a different identity, right? Moving on, right? What promises that you can say to hope sin can be defeated? Answer that with an open mind. And whatever your answers are, it should be the answers on why you shouldn't be attached to lust, right? So moving on is now into open-ended questions. Right? These are the questions that will automatically help and open your mind in a much more different perspective on this concept. So first of all, what am I doing about these dispositions of the heart? Right? What are you doing about these dispositions for you to disconnect yourself away from these things that your heart is being affected by? Right? All these things are hurting yourself, it's hurting your soul. These things coming out of the ego that have been attached into the way what you have been influenced in the media, the way you have been talked to about females, about males, about whatever it is, right? Whatever individual, the way your sexual energy is just in the wrong perspective, right? Moving on, what on my internet accountability report should draw my partner's attention? So I never really got into this topic. There should be an accountable partner. There should be someone that should be accountable for your own addiction, right? You cannot beat this alone. You need people. People will help you feel heard. People will help you feel accountable, right? And mainly of those people could be God. It could be yourself. It could be your family. It could be your friends. Whatever it is, you need someone that could be accountable to help you, right? So now we're moving on into third. What do I hope none of my accountability partners ask me about? What do you hope that none of your partners will ask you about, right? Would you still hope that they will still help you? Would you still hope that they still need to remind you to stop doing this? Would you still hope that they will basically have to be there 24/7 for you not to do it? No, you wouldn't do that, right? You want to move on. You want to excel and exceed on being a different person, on being a different identity, right? So all these open-minded questions is just for you to basically look yourself in different point of views and different ideas and different perspectives, different ways for you to evaluate yourself, right? Moving on, when it comes into habitual sins, is there a time, a day, a place, a person, or a mood that opens the door to lust, right? So this is what I mean by having that specific category where you do the things that you're supposed to do, but afterwards. When does this activate? When does this come to you? When does this try to manipulate you to think differently, to think out of lust, to think out of this curse, right? What is the time? What is the day? How do you feel? What is the action, right? What type of time as well? What is the things that automatically are gonna track that trigger into you when it comes into your habitual sins? This needs to be an open-minded question. I can't answer that for you because obviously I'm not gonna know what your day-by-day habits are, but you should know specifically when is the time that this horrible course is gonna come in your way, when you're carelessly, when you're just relaxing, or whatever it is, right? Whenever time it is. Moving on. What good habits do I believe God wants me to do? What good habits are you gonna start doing, right? Thinking to yourself, most of the time I just be laying down. Most of the time I just be scrolling on social media. Most of the time I just be looking at girls. Most of the time I just be texting girls. So sometimes you are your own source of problem. You are your own source of attracting these temptations, attracting these triggers, because what you're doing, your actions are connected into this source. Why are you talking to females if your mind is not thinking properly to talk to females, right? Why are you scrolling on social media if you know you're gonna see females, and if you know that the more attention you keep putting into it, the more you're gonna receive of that energy, right? Why are you laying down, but when times where you're most likely when you're bored, or sometimes where you most likely don't feel like doing anything, basically lazy, you will most likely do it because you're right there in the moment, right? These things should be a productive way that you should manner yourself on focusing on the right things. Stop focusing on the bullshit and start focusing on the right things. The only reason why your life is fulfilled with bullshit, which is lust, it is because your life is bullshit. That is the only reason why you tolerate lust. That is the only reason why you don't practice sexual discipline, why you don't practice semen retention, why you don't practice your sexual energy to be within yourself and use that energy to be productive, right? The more you keep evolving yourself with this, your energy is going to be transferred away into this curse, right? That's why I'm saying that you need to start ignoring it and just do something. Just do something. Just ignore it. I know a lot of people will say, oh, what do I do? Oh, bro, but most of the time it happens when I'm laying down, bro. So how about this? When it happens when you're laying down, how about you start putting your phone away from you? How about you charge your phone in a different room? Maybe your mom's room, maybe your brother's, maybe your sister's, or just put your phone away. Or well, where is it that you watch this horrible lust or what we call porn, right? Is it on your computer? Perfect. If you watch it in your room, then how about this? How about you hide your keyboard? How about you hide your mouse in a different way and in a different place for you not to interact with this? Stop making excuses and stop accepting this shit, right? So moving on, sorry for my language as well. I apologize, but what's your hope here? What is your purpose? What is the reason why you looked at this video? What is the reason why you want to learn from this video? What is the reason why you want to change? What is your hope? And let me tell you this, you do have a hope. If you're watching this video, then you do have something to prove. You do have something to overcome. You do have something that your best self, your God, or just the universe is giving you different signals that automatically want you to change your life, right? Excuse me. So moving on is, how can my accountability partner pay for me, right? So your accountability partner should help you manifest your different self. Your partner should help you attract different energies. You know what? I want to attract me becoming a better person. You know what? I want to attract me having different opportunities. You know what? I want to attract different situations, which is exciting for me and and gives me fulfillment, right? You see how I'm changing your mind right now? You see how I'm changing your automatic perspective? I'm not making you think about this. Obviously not. I'm never going to make you think about that, because that is useless. The lust is useless. It's not powerful. It just destructs you, right? I wouldn't give acknowledgement into something that's not that powerful, because it's giving you a negative impact. But if it was something, if it was giving you a positive impact, if none of these consequences I was just naming 10 or 13 minutes ago, then automatically I would have been like, different perspective. But no, this is not the case here. We are not accepting this. We're distancing away from becoming this and interacting with this, right? Let's move on. Let's become a different person, right? You're not this person who is connected with lust. You are yourself, right? But when you connect with this concept, you'll become a different identity that creates different problems, that creates different addictions and consequences that you truly don't want. And that is exactly why you're watching this video, right? So now, moving on forward, right? Remember and summarize the choices you have made and the state of your heart, right? What are the choices that you have made throughout lust? How did your heart felt? Were you connected with your heart? Were those choices were behind of the inner self, with the inner soul? What was it? What were the things that is selected away from your actual soul rather than the ego, right? And the only ways that you can actually have fulfilled yourself in this question is by answering the question. And remember and summarize and analyze yourself in a way where, okay, what I didn't do that choice properly on my heart. What I did, I just did something out of my emotions. I just did something out of lust, right? All these things have been compounding, and the summarization that you do when you remember and actually being aware in that moment. Like, what happened in that moment? How did I feel? Why did I do that? Those sort of questions will always come in a better explanation when it comes from yourself, right? Moving on forward, right? Talk about the ways to guard against sinful actions. So, do you ever know how you can basically ignore this lust? How is it a way that you can transfer that lust now into productive energy? Do you know how to basically control yourself in those certain situations? Do you know? Or have you ever even tried? Have you even asked yourself why? Have you even know how to do different motives? What is it, the things that you do that automatically changes your perspective and the motive behind lust, right? Because you can have lust, but also there's different actions that you can do. Either you're gonna be this person attracted into lust, or you can just be this person that's disconnected away from that and automatically has put himself in a better situation, right? So now we're asking questions, right? We're going back into this open-minded questions. We want to make sure, how much are you really bettering yourself with this concept and addiction, right? So first of all, these are questions regarding sexual purity, right? So number one is that, how many times have you avoided pornography out of 1 out of 10? What is the ratio? How many times have you said, no, I'm not going to watch that? How many times have you gone to the settings and actually blocked off Safari and actually take out all the 18 plus websites? How many times have you found different tools or different ways that you can do on your phone or on devices in order for you to not see that in any sort of way, right? Number two, I have avoided images or interactions that regards on pornography or sexual oriented lust things, right? What is the ratio between 1 and 10 when you have avoided images or interaction regarding lust, right? These things are important because when people tend to look at images, when people tend to look at females, it just builds up the tendency and urgency of your lust, and it just comes straight away and attacks you, right? Number 3, I have actively avoided known triggers or temptations. Perfect. So you know which websites what to avoid. You know which apps you should avoid. You know which social profiles or specific people you should avoid for you to avoid those triggers and temptation. Out of 1 to 10, how much are you doing that briefly? And be honest with yourself. I want you to be honest. I want you to be true to yourself. Don't be a coward. Don't hide from the truth. Be a person who is willing to change. Stop being a coward. Stop being the loser. Stop being that wicked mind that is affecting your own family. It's affecting your own self and your own environment. Be real with yourself. So number 4, I have not spent time with a man or a woman that can be viewed as compromising my purity, right? So all into your partner. If you have a girlfriend, if you have a boyfriend, it's okay, right? It's normal. It's natural. It's at least natural, right? But what I mean is that if you don't have a partner, if you don't have a relationship partner, why are you hanging out with people if you're so attracted into lust? All it is just having a bodily sexual interaction, right? When you're forcing your perspective, when you're forcing your concept of lust rather than having a natural way to intercourse, there's a lot of ways that I can go in depth with this, but I really don't want to because I'm pretty sure you answer to everything, right? So number 4, guys, that was the whole questions of sexual purity, right? Now, moving on into the questions of my time, talents, and treasures, right? So number 5, I am intentionally showing love to others while I serve them with gifts and talents. What are you doing on your free time? What are you doing to better yourself? What are you doing to better your skills, to master your craft, to master your talents, to master your purpose? Out of 1 in 10, how much are you putting time into that rather than putting time into your lust, right? Number 11, I have spent good time with family. Wait, no, 4, 5, we're number 6, right? Number 6, I have spent time good with my family. Out of 1 in 10, how much do you prioritize your bonds with your families? Are you so distracted? Are you so self-oriented because of this bullshit course, because of lust? You're not even hanging around with your family. You're not even showing love to the people that you see every day because you're putting attention into stuff that doesn't even matter in your life and doesn't even give you the same attention back. Rather than putting yourself in lower state, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? So number 7, right? My family is enjoying joy and harmony, right? Look at your family. Are they at the best state of mind? Is everything okay? Is every circumstances that they have been, every problems have they found a solution? Have you helped them in any sort of way? Instead of you wasting your freaking time on dumb stuff, you should be focusing on things that matter, on things that are affecting your day by day, right? Help out and be this person that's inspiring. Be this person that's influential. Number 8, my time in technology hasn't been displaced by my family. Out of 1 to 10, how much are you replacing your phone to hang around with your family? Be family oriented rather than being self oriented. Rather than you being over here, over there, distracted with your phone and not doing anything and not being productive. How much are you doing that out of 1 to 10? Most likely you are doing this probably lower than the 5s because of how much you are addicted into this and this. Horrible. Right? So moving on forward is number 8. I am intentional about the spare of time to pursue wholesome activities. Out of 1 or 10, how much time are you putting into your purpose? How much time are you putting into the things that should deserve your time? The things that are going to give you back, who are going to prioritize your future, instead of you focusing on things that are going to give you negative impacts, rather than focusing on things that are going to give you positive outcomes, right? So now, number 9, right? I am feeling energized for the week. How much are you looking forward to your days? How much are you fulfilled with joy, fulfilled with excitement, fulfilled with things that you want to do throughout the day? How much do you feel throughout, right? How much are you putting time into these small things, man? being energized for the week. But not even being energized for the week, being energized for every day. Every day, the gift of life is that everybody here has the same time. But how are you going to use that time? Are you going to use your time for this? For this thing? Oh man, God bless you, man, because and I wonder how your life is gonna look like in the next what? And I will say next year. Next year, horrible expectations, right? So number 10, the last question I have for the guide. Regularly focusing on gospel to focus on rather than the bad motives. So what are you doing for you to stop focusing on the things that is not gonna give you the right productivity, but rather instead of you focusing on your own wisdom? Right? Out of 1 or 10, how long is that ratio? Because this is the most important question, right? Focusing on the gospel to focus rather than doing the bad motives. Doing the bad motives to hiding your reality, you being negative for yourself, you're tempting to connect with lust, you're letting lust get through you, you don't know how to control yourself, you don't know how to control your emotions. It doesn't even have to do with lust, but all these disadvantages or weaknesses, what are you doing to be better at that? What are you doing to become a better person? Realistically, what are you doing? But yeah, this is just a self-analyzing video. I wanted to make sure that I change your perspectives in a way where you're changing your perspective, right? Because I always tend to say this, nobody knows you better than who you are, right? Nobody knows who you are than yourself, obviously, right? But I want to make sure that I guide you into a way where you can start changing your perspective and changing your mindset, and having that shift automatically make you a better person rather than you sticking with lust and being a loser, right? Being a loser, being a weakened species, being a weakened human self that people will look at and be like, wow, this person isn't shit. This person is just, he's average. He's not doing anything. What is he doing? What is he providing for the world? What is your qualities? What are your credentials? What are the things that you show up for the world, right? But yeah, I love every single one of you, but I had to be real. I had to be real and I had to be honest, because I'm the only one who's gonna be talking to you. I'm gonna be the one who's giving y'all this real advice and real honesty for y'all to change yourselves, man. But yeah, it's been Fredo's brothers and sisters. Sorry, it's been Fredo Saga. Let's leave the dimension expansion with some new game. Live your own truth to create your own saga. Yo, go follow my other socials right here in the bottom left corner. Just to check out my link to look at all my social platforms, look at all my websites also. I do coach. If y'all want to stay in contact with me, just contact my email in the description, and boom, we can do a one-on-one coach session, or we can do whatever it is. I will help you. But yeah, peace out and love ya, and never tolerate this. Never tolerate, before I leave, never tolerate this bullshit, man. This thing is meant to keep you right here, man. It's meant to keep you right now. You're right here because you received so much wisdom. You've received so much honesty, and you being humble. You're being humble enough to receive this information in a rude way. But without this rude way, I want you to change. I want you to realize who I am. I want you to remember who I am in order for you to change, right? But don't let this lust bring you down from who you are right now, rather than being back into who you are, man. But yeah, see you next time.